Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Klasrum Adarna Kids with me, Gelai, Manabat. Hello to all the kids and all to the parents who are joining us today. I'll be your teacher today. I'll be teaching you how to make your own papercraft toys, like this one, which is a reverse paper doll. It's called a reverse paper doll because instead of attaching the clothes on the doll, we'll be using our background to our backgrounds like different patterns, textures, colors to give design to our paper dolls. So for example, the design right now is my face. And our next activity for today, we're also going to make an I Spy portrait. So as you can see, when we move it from side to side, the eyes seem to be following you. And the last one is a paper puppet. So today I'm going to teach you how to make a bear paper puppet. And as you're making these, I hope that you will also learn different cutting techniques from me. Okay, so that you can use these as you make other paper craft toys in the future. Okay, so before we start, I'd like to introduce myself again. I'm Gelai Manabat. I'm an in-house artist at Adarna House, the first and largest children's book publisher in the Philippines. I am also a member of Ang Ilustrador ng Kabataan, and I am happy to have illustrated 3 books. The first is Masayang Magtanim, which is a board book about planting. The second one is Inside Daniel's Head, written by Joji Reyna Santos, and these 2 were published by Adarna House. And the third is Kapit Kapit Bahay Bahay, written by China de Vera. It's about an urban poor community fighting for their space in the city, and this was published by the Save San Roque Alliance. Okay, so enough about me. Let's get to know what materials we're going to use today. So if you can see my other screen, we're going to use, of course, colored paper. You can also use, for example, if you don't have blank paper, you can use the back of an old calendar like this one, or old magazine. We're also going to use, of course, scissors, because we need to cut out the shapes, glue to assemble our artwork, a pencil to sketch the shapes that we're going to cut out, and coloring materials. So today I'm using colored markers, but you can use whatever coloring materials you have in your homes. You can use crayons, oil pastels, paint, or makeup. Who knows? Let's get creative. So let's get started. Okay, so the first is our reverse paper doll. So I'm just going to set these other things aside so you can see properly. Oh, and also you can post your questions on the comment section and I'll try to answer them while we're making these things. I hope you guys are excited to make these things. Okay. So for a reverse paper doll, I want you to get a blank piece of paper, like this one, and choose colors that you'd like to use for the head, the arms, and the legs. So I'm gonna use these colors. So you don't really need that much. We're going to use these little pieces of paper. So first, I'm going to draw the shape of my doll's dress. So here, as you can see, it's like a peanut shape. And you need to make a shape that's big enough for all the colors and patterns to come through when we're holding it against the background. Okay, so I think for today, I'm going to draw an inverted triangle. Okay, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And I think imperfections really make our artworks more unique and more interesting. And then to cut this out, I'm going to fold my paper this way, but not entirely fold it. Can you see? Then I'm going to make a snip in the middle, and I'm going to use that to insert the blade of my scissors so I can cut the shape out. So if you're not very fond of using the scissors, you can ask for help from your parents or older siblings. So just follow the lines. There. So we already have the shape of our shirt. I think this will be the shirt of my doll. Next, we're going to cut out the shape of the head. So for the head, I'm going to use this yellow piece of paper, and I'm just going to make a circular head with some ears and a neck. I think that looks good, and then I'm going to cut it out. Again, go ahead and post your questions in the comment section. Okay. So it doesn't have to be a circular head. It can be also the shape of a triangle or a square or heart shape. There. So there's our head sitting on top of these broad shoulders. Now let's cut out some arms. I'm going to use the color green for arms. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in the middle. And I'm just going to draw one of the arms. So I think I'm going to make it a little bit muscular. And, you know, the fingers are really just a bunch of bananas. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I think that looks good. Then I'm gonna cut it out while it's still folded. How are you guys doing? Are you able to follow? I think anyone can do this. And, you know, just play around with the shapes and the colors. So one thing you can do is, instead of moving your scissors around the shape, you can move the paper instead and let it slide into the blade of your scissors. So for here, see, I'm just moving my paper around to cut out those fingers. Then here we go. We need to cut it in the middle so that makes 2 arms. Ta-da! What do you think? And let's make the legs. We're gonna do the same thing. We're going to fold it in half and just draw one leg and then cut it again while the paper is still folded. So muscular legs, or maybe tiny legs, or wobbly legs. And I'm gonna turn this into a boot like that. Then I'm gonna cut that out. Can you see? There you go. Cut it out while it's still folded. There. And cut it in the middle to separate the two legs. Yes, it's a strong man. Then we're just going to put it here. You can also cut out the excess. I think I want him to look like he's jumping. Okay. So we're ready to use some glue and paste these onto our white piece of paper. I like to use my fingers when applying glue because I find that this gives me more control where the glue is going. And also, it's a good way to exercise our fine motor skills. That's right. So when using glue, a little goes a long way. You don't have to put so much. So I'm just dabbing a little on each part. And also, this is very light and uncoated paper. So we don't need to use, so the glue will actually adhere easily. Then just a little bit of glue. How are you guys doing? And then later I'm going to cut out the excess. Are you guys having fun? I wish I could hear you all. Okay, so we can cut out the excess now. Just turn it over. So again, I used an old calendar. There we go. And I'm gonna cut out some more from here. There we go. Now we have a jumping man. Okay, so we can give him some hair and we can use our coloring materials. I'm just gonna use some black. I'm just going to draw these lines that make him look like he's surprised. Shocked eyes, I guess. There you go. There we go. And then we're ready to place some paper at the back. You don't have to stick it. We're just going to experiment at what kind of designs we can use for his shirt. So here I have some old receipts on which I sprayed some alcohol and it created this really cool effect. So we can use that. So let's see. That's what it looks like. Kind of cool. What else? I also have these cardboard that I use as a sketch paper when I'm trying to experiment with different shapes. So it looks like a tie-dye effect. There. So, and what else? Oh, I also have some pieces of paper that I put paint on, and we can create two pieces of clothing with this one. I mean, with these two pieces of paper. See? So that looks like a shirt and some trousers. Okay, are you guys ready to move on to our next art project? I'm ready. I'm ready. If you're ready, let's do it. Let's get to it. There's nothing to it. Okay, so our next art project is an I Spy portrait. Oh, okay. So it's a question. What is the best material for paper crafts to make it more sturdy? I think that there are a lot of um, good paper stock out there that you can get from craft stores. And I think that the people there are already very helpful in telling you which ones to use. But I just go for the cardboard, sort of cardboard like. So it's thicker than just bond paper or colored paper. But also it's good to use quality glue, because sometimes when you use glue, it kind of makes the paper stiffer. So that's good. That can make your artwork more sturdy. What else? Also, folding helps to give your paper um a sturdier foundation. I hope I answered your question. Okay, are you ready for the I Spy portrait? Let's go. So for this one, we need another blank piece of paper. I'm gonna use this. And again, choose the colors that you want to use for the face, and the parts of the face, and even the shirt. So I'm going to use this yellow piece of paper for the face. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this in half. So it's going to be a symmetrical face. As you can see here, quite symmetrical, right? Fold that in half. And then draw half the shape of the face that you want. I think I'm just going to draw a simple circle again with some ears. Or maybe it's an oblong. I don't know how this is gonna turn out. Hope it looks good. Okay, something like this. And then let's try to open it out. Let's see where the eye should go. Maybe here. Okay, I'm going to draw an eye hole on just one side of the paper. Make it a little bit big so that we can draw inside the centers of the eyes later on. Okay, so while it's still folded, I'm going to cut that out. So again, just follow the lines with your scissors. Okay, and then as for this hole here, we're going to slightly fold this piece of paper again, this way. And we're going to make a snip, small enough, big enough for the blade of our scissors to go in. And then we're going to cut that out. Cut out the circle, the eye hole. So I think one of the comments was, this is a great way to cut the middle of the paper without cutting it from the edge. I think I learned this from my dad. So thanks, Dad. Okay. And when you open it out, see, you already have a face with eye holes. Let's turn this around so that the lines won't show. And I want you to fold the ear. And we're going to paste it this way. And so it creates a 3D effect. So I'm just going to use some glue. Just going to put some on each ear. And bend the paper a little to create that 3D effect. I think this is good. Are you guys following? Okay, what's next? A face needs a nose, so let's cut out a nose. And we're going to do the same technique. We're going to fold it in half and then cut the paper while it's folded. He thinks this is big enough for the nose. He's gonna fold it in half. And again, I'm going to draw just half the shape of the nose. Which looks like this. Let's see what it looks like when we cut it out. Sometimes doing this gives you a surprise. You don't really know what it's gonna look like until you open it out in the end. Aha! What does it look like? It kind of looks like a duck's web foot. Okay. Anyway, let's put some glue on just these sides of the nose, and we're going to make a small tent so that it comes out a little bit 3D again. So I think this is kind of hard. It's a little bit fiddly. There. How you guys doing? Okay. Next, let's put a smile on this face. Let's cut out a smile. I'm going to use some white piece of paper. Here, just gonna cut out a small piece. Again, you can post your comments or your questions in the comment section, and I'll try to answer them as we're doing this. So let's fold this in half again. Sabi ni Bianca, dom-dom. Nag-enjoy ang kids ko while watching you. Yay! That's all I want in this life, for kids to enjoy watching me. I live to bring joy to the kids. Snap. Okay. Let's cut this smile. So it's just a half moon or a crescent shape. And let's, I think it's too big. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. Sabi ni Pao Cruz, I can't wait to make this with my kinder students. Yay! I hope they enjoy making this when you teach it to them. The thing is, I learned all of these from my parents because when I was young, my parents took me with them when they taught Art and Crafts Workshop. I think this looks better. What do you think? Okay, let's put some glue on the ends of this smile. Okay. And there you go. Looks good. Looks good. Give yourselves a pat on the back for making it this far. Okay. Now, let's draw in some details. I'm gonna draw a letter C inside the ear and a reverse C for the other ear, and maybe freckles. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. And then I'm going to cut out 2 circles for the centers of the eyes. I'm going to use this color black. If you don't have a black piece of paper or a dark colored piece of paper, you can also just draw in the eyes. So again, I'm just going to fold it and cut out a circle shape. The thing is, when you're cutting out circles, you can just start with a square and then cut out the corners. And that'll help you make a circle. I think these are too big, so I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Are you guys enjoying? I'm having fun. This is a good way to take a break from working from home or from your online classes, or if you just want to, I don't know, get some creative juices going. Sometimes you just have to make time to play. I think this will do. Ta-da! Then I'm gonna add some glue and paste them in the center. So there, one down. There, another. Let's move it around a little. See? Now its eyes are following you wherever you go. Kind of creepy. Maybe you can use this as a decoration for Halloween, even if Halloween isn't really a Philippine tradition. Or, just play around with it. Okay, so we can add a shirt now. Then I'm just gonna fold this in half. Maybe I'm going to and then I'm going to cut it while it's folded. I'm just going to make a sort of hill shape like this and then put it underneath. Then let's glue that. You can also post your works in the comment section. We'd love to see what you made. Maybe it'll help brighten up someone's day. There we go. And then let's add some hair. I'm just gonna cut out a sort of grass shape with this orange piece of paper. Oop. Okay, let's do that. There we go. And if you don't like to draw hands, here's a trick. Since this is only like a half body picture, you can just draw a line on each side. Ta-da! And now he has arms and maybe a pocket. There you go. Okay, let's move on to our next project. Let's set all these things aside. For our last papercraft project, we're going to make a paper puppet. Oh, here's a question. What activities can you recommend aside from papercraft that parents and kids can enjoy? I think that there are a lot of activities that parents and kids can enjoy together, but I think one thing we can do more often is reading stories to our kids, because that not only builds this love of reading in them, but it also helps them become their own storytellers. And I think we need a lot more storytellers right now because there are a lot of stories that need to be told. Did I answer your question? Another question. I want to be an illustrator for children. Where should I start? This is gonna be cheesy, but I think you should start from here, which is your inner child. Um, I think that a lot of really good illustrators are very in touch with their inner child, and that helps them sort of navigate how they're going to work on a project. Like, what would satisfy your younger self? What stories would your younger self want to read about? I think that's very important so that whatever we're making will resonate with the kids or our intended audience. Did I answer your question? Also, for a more practical answer, you should also start to read our great array of children's books here in the Philippines. We're not as big as the children's book industry in Western countries, but we are a growing industry, and that's good news, right? Um, the thing is, we should get to know what's already been done, what's already out there, so that we know how to give um, these new stories a fresher take, and we know what stories need to be told. Okay. So I hope you were able to follow what I was doing while I was answering questions. So what I did was I made this sort of long sleeve by folding the paper this way, and it's like an envelope. Okay, and then we're just gonna paste it. What is your advice to your 8-year-old self? I think that my 20-something self needs advice from my 8-year-old self instead because she was doing all right. I think I'd tell my 8-year-old self to um, continue to be curious and be full of wonder and bring that into her adulthood because there are a lot of things to discover still and to not be afraid to try out new things and to just draw because that will take you to your dream job, which is to be a children's book illustrator. Okay. Do you also offer workshops for pop-up bookmaking or designing? Um, I'm not very good with pop-up, but there are a lot of illustrators here in the Philippines who know how to do pop-up. Um, so you just have to look for them on Instagram. What I do though is this Papercraft, and I can make it 3D. I hope that's close enough. Okay. So what we're doing right now is we're folding the paper sleeve in half and then folding these flaps again over here. And so this will serve as the mouth of our paper puppet. We just have to insert our fingers in there. Hello! And then let's try to make the face. So for this, I made a snout. I'm going to use this pink piece of paper. I'm going to fold it in half and I'm going to cut out a half circle. And then I'm going to make a little snip here in this bottom section. And I'm going to twist the paper this way. Pretty cool, huh? So it creates a snout shape that's kind of 3D. And then I'm just going to put some glue to put that in place to secure that shape. There you go. And you can place that here. Can you share some advice on how to keep my kids from using too much gadgets? So that's another question from the comment section. Um, this is a tough question because I think the content on their screens are really interesting. But I think one thing we can do is to just spend time with our kids, talk to them, be sincerely interested in what they're doing, maybe ask them questions about what they're watching and not simply dismiss what they're watching or what they're playing to be trivial. Because I think in that way, not only are we able to spend time with them, we are also able to get to know what makes those things interesting for them, and maybe we can bring those factors outside the screen. I hope I answered your question. So there's my snout. I'm just going to make this nose with this color. Okay, so I'm going to fold it in half again. And I'm going to cut out a sort of mushroom shape. So I'm just going to draw half of that shape. There we go. Can you see? Okay. And cut that out. So we're going to have something like this when we open it out. And you're going to twist these two ends underneath this middle section, like this. Voila! You've created a nose. Then I'm just going to use some glue to secure the shape, to hold these flaps together. Are you guys able to follow, or am I going too fast? Okay. And then we're going to place that on top of the snout, like that. Okay, just put some glue. Okay, now let's do the ears. I'm going to use this small piece of orange. And then I'm going to cut out another hill shape or half an oblong. Can you see? Okay. Cut that out while the paper is still folded. And next is we're gonna make another snip here at the bottom section in the middle. And then we're going to twist it this way so we are able to create that shape, that ear shape for the bear. Then again, just use some glue to hold that in place. You can also make these kind of ears, other kinds of ears using this technique. For example, a cat's ear, you just have to make the shape more pointed. And as for a cow's ear, again, it has to be more pointed and then tapered here at the bottom. So just do the same thing. There we go. So here's a question. Hi, Gelai. How do you come up with those unique and fun shapes? How do I come up with these unique and fun shapes? The truth is, I learned, as I've said before, I learned all of these from my father, but I think he learned these from reading a lot of books on how to make toys for kids. Um, but if you don't have those books, I think that you can just go wild and experiment with how to fold paper, how to make different shapes with paper. And you never know what you're going to make, how it's going to turn out. So maybe just try experimenting. But knowing how to make these kind of shapes also helps in making your own costumes. Um, so yeah, so when I was little, my parents also helped me making costumes that used a lot of these shapes. Okay. Also, a good way is to just try them out to just cut. For example, you know that this is a curved shape, right? And then if you curve it, you might make a cone. Okay, so let's just put in some glue and stick these here in the opening in this pocket for your four fingers, and then place that there on one side, place the other ear on the other side. Are you guys enjoying? Are you guys able to follow? Now it has ears. Okay, let's cut out some eyes. Again, it's not too hard. Just going to use this white piece of paper, fold that in half. Also, a great resource is YouTube. You can find a lot of arts and crafts tutorials on YouTube. Maybe you can also try to watch costume making tutorials or cosplay making tutorials. The people who do cosplay are very good at making their own costumes. They know very well how to manipulate shapes. I think that you can learn a lot from them. There you go, two eyes. There we go. And it's okay if it overlaps a little with the snout. That's fine. Okay. And then let's cut out the centers of the eye. No, I don't. Oh, here. I have a green piece of paper. You guys know the drill. Just fold it in half and cut it while it's folded. So doing that technique, folding the paper first in half and then cutting it out, cutting out the shape while it's folded is also a good way to teach kids symmetry. There we go. I think I'll make the centers smaller. Okay. Okay. Oh, mukha siyang shook. It looks like a shocked bear. Okay. Maybe because he found Goldilocks in his home trespassing. Okay. And there we go. So you just have to insert your fingers inside the pockets of the paper puppet. Hello! And what you can do is you can still add maybe teeth inside or a tongue or the tonsils. That's it, actually. You can post your questions or comments and I'll try to answer them. Or post your works. We'd love to see them. Let's see some of your comments or questions. What inspired you to be an illustrator for children? As I've mentioned a lot of times before, I learned a lot from my parents. And as I said, they brought me along when they were teaching arts and crafts to kids, and I saw how much joy they were able to bring to those kids, and I just want to do that too. Also, my parents are very good storytellers. They read me stories every night, so that kind of helped spark this passion in me. And I just want to bring that same kind of joy and wonder to other kids. Here's another question. What is your favorite among all your works? Why? Mm, I like all of the books that I have illustrated, um, especially because all the topics or what they were about were very close to my heart. Um, and I think that we all should be able to do that, to work on things that we believe in or that we are willing to fight for. Like, for example, the Kapit Kapit Bahay Bahay is about inclusive development. And that's something that's very important to me because I believe we all have a right to live in the city. Can you share some tips on how to motivate kids to be creative? I For us to be able to motivate kids to be creative, I think us adults have to be creative as well. We just have to give it a go. And we also have to start thinking of creativity not simply as drawing or doodling or just doing arts and crafts. Have to have to think of creativity as a very important part of problem solving. And when we think of it that way, we can, for example, we can think of figuring out what's for dinner as an exercise for creativity, or picking out clothes in the morning. What else? Or, if you have, for example, maybe your roof is leaking and you don't know what to do, you can give it a try. Just ask your kid, what do you think we should do? And maybe he, she, or they can come up with different ways to solve that problem. What do you guys think? What else? Hmm, what do you usually do if you're having a creative block? Uh, when I'm having a creative block, I turn to social media. I just try to look for what other artists are doing. I'm not trying to copy them. I'm trying to look at what they're interested in and what makes those things interesting to them. And then I try to get to know about those things. So it's a way to expand my knowledge. It's also a good way to consume more visual media. And that helps me get back to the work that I'm doing to I don't know, to fight the creative block. What else? I eat. I take a break. I think taking a break right now is very important, just to reflect on how we're doing, Maybe go watch a movie or play a game or do paper craft. And I hope that helps you get over your creative block because in a way that's sort of exercising other parts of the brain, right? Do you also have a project to show today made out of recycled materials? No, I haven't planned to do a recycled project, but with these paper crafts, you can definitely use recycled paper or paper that's just lying around in the house, like newspapers, old magazines, old folders, old calendars, old wrapping paper, and you can use them to make these. Any tips for teachers to kinder students about cutting, especially the kinder students who are just starting to learn the cutting skill? Hmm. I think we just have to start with easy things first. Maybe not even cutting yet. Maybe we have to start with drawing first, just so we can exercise their fine motor skills from um, I don't know, before we start cutting. And then let them cut out simple shapes first, like a square, and then move on to more complex shapes. And then I think it's unavoidable that we just have to be really careful. We just have to guide them so that they don't poke themselves or poke other kids. What is my favorite arts and crafts activity? Hmm, I think any arts and crafts activity that utilizes shapes. For example, here at my back, can you see? This is a mandala. And for this, I just used the same technique that we did for these three paper projects. I just had to cut my paper in half. And it's also like cutting out snowflakes. So it's pretty easy. I'm sure a lot of you know how to cut out snowflakes. Hmm. What else? What else? Also, you can post your works in the comment section so that everybody can see what you made. I think one way to encourage kids to draw or to cut out characters is to tell them a story and then they can draw or cut out the characters from that story. Okay, do you want me to show you how to make cat shaped ears? Okay, let's get some paper. Okay, so we have this scrap piece of paper. And then again, fold it in half and draw the shape of a cat's ear. So sort of a triangle, but curved at the sides. Can you guys see? And then just cut that out. And then again, make a snip at the bottom. And do the same thing. Twist the left flap under the right flap. Oops, sorry. Or, or the left flap over the right flap. There you go. There you go. Now you have cat ears. They can also be fox ears or pig ears. What else? Look at some more questions. What age of kids would you let them use scissors, or would you rather pre-cut the materials before the activity? Hmm, I think grade one. I'm not really sure because I'm not a child development expert, but when I was in grade one, I was already cutting paper, so maybe they can do it. Go ask a teacher. I bet they know. Another question. How do you choose your colors? Ah, from Donna Tiongko. Hi, Donna. Um, how do I choose my colors? Sometimes it's very random, but I have a go-to color palette, which are the primary colors, that's red, yellow, and blue. They just go so well all the time. So that's my go-to color palette. And then I just follow the color wheel there. The color wheel is a great guide for everyone who wants to be able to create color palettes or color schemes that are harmonious. And for example, from there you can see what color complements red. Then you just have to know the complementary, split complementary. Um, what else? Just have to know those combinations, and then when you've got the hang of it, it will be like second nature to know which colors go together. Sometimes I also get color inspirations from my surroundings or from OOTDs on Instagram. But I tend to choose colors that are close to the primary colors and bright colors. Hello, from your perspective, what is the best color and shape that expresses more fun and enjoyable feelings for kids? I think the most fun shape is actually there are two that I'm thinking of. The first is a circle because this is such a silly answer. Because you have circle time and everybody goes in a circle and they're having fun, and you use circles a lot for logos. So because it kind of communicates community, togetherness, and it's the shape. No, actually, it's a sphere. The Earth is a sphere, but it's close to a circle. Also, circles, polka dots. The other shape is a triangle because I think a triangle communicates a dynamic action, communicates change, especially an inverted triangle. And it's also very simple to cut out. And it looks like a pizza. From, I hope I pronounce your name right, from Hyrizel Love Gagonan. I would like to find out what factors help the designer to continually create without losing motivation. I think we just have to always go back to our why. Why are we creating? Why are we drawing? And for whom are we creating? Because if that's our foundation, then I think we'd be able to create um, without hesitation, or it just makes it easier for you to create when you're doing it for something bigger than yourself. And for our last question, oh, that was it. Okay, Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. Thank you for all your questions. They made me think really hard. I hope I answered all of them, even if some of my answers, I believe, were kind of silly. But I hope you guys had fun. Um, what else? Again, you can still post comments in the comment section so that we know what you think of this workshop. Also, we would like to ask you to answer our feedback form so that we can hear from you. And there are also other master classes and workshops happening today and until the 25th. And I think registration is still open. So head on over to the Science Center social media pages. Just look for DTI Design Center of the Philippines. I would also like to invite you to join the last session today, which is Miss Kathy Saldana's Breaking Through the Glass Ceiling, a Design Leadership Masterclass later at 6 p.m. Again, this has been Gelai Manabat. I hope you enjoyed and good afternoon.